Alright, we'll call the meeting to order tonight. I'll read tonight's agenda. Select board meeting agenda for May 10th of 2021. Under new business, we have
Taking your chair.
this,
There you go.
Alright, under new business, we have Tim Smith, Executive Director of Franklin County Industrial Development Corporation. Is he gonna be here or on Zoom or?
I don't know, they
Not
just
sure.
had a meeting up with me and
Okay. We have Carrie and Forrest Cattell Mitchell here about the firearm ordinance. Jamie Whitehead is Lister. She looks like she's on Zoom. We need to approve meeting minutes, sign fleet permits, sign warrants. Nancy West is here from Planning Commission. And looks like Brian's here.
I want to stay out.
Alright. Where do we want to start? Nancy,
I'm
you want to
here.
start?
Okay, that's fine. I'm here for the planning board,
Yep.
and I'm here to speak to you guys about the Sweet Hollow Town Forest.
Yep.
And as you know, we spoke about the planning board, seeing what we wanted to do with it. I've talked to some of the members and we would like to do maybe some parking and some walking paths. So, and I know Nancy Patch is the forester that did the report that Andy Crane had sent me. So, and then she had a logger go down that works with her, just kind of walked it and kind of looked around, and he
Yep.
came back and we talked, he came to my house and we talked tonight, and he gave me some suggestions about where to start and what to do. So the first thing that I would like to do from the board is to appoint a point person from the board that I can speak to, and he can speak to the board, or if we have any questions. And I would like it to be David Klubit, because he was on the previous committee that did the
Yeah.
town forest.
He's got some knowledge of this.
And he has knowledge
Yep.
of it. And I would also like to get the former committee together that did all this, to work with the planning board to move forward with the recommendations that Nancy and that they typed up.
Okay.
So, we'd like to move forward on this if we get your blessings, and follow the recommendations that Nancy and the board wrote, and have David be our point person and have meetings between the previous committee and the planning board so we can get this going. There's a lot of interest, we wanted to keep it, of course. There's a lot of interest in maybe putting some parking down there and some paths for walking. And the only concerns they had is hoping to keep like the four-wheelers out of it if we end up doing this, but that's a discussion down the road.
Yep.
So that's what I would like to be able to do, is move forward, set up some meetings with the previous, have David as a point person and have him come to our meetings because he was on the board also, and then follow the recommendations that they have.
Do you have a list of the people that are on that previous board, or?
No, but I'm
names and
expecting
numbers?
David will
David,
have
do you
it.
know
And I know
anybody that's on the board?
I've spoken to Andy Crane, and he was on it, and he said he would love to still be on it. And I know Bob Norris was on it, but I'm not sure if Bob's got time or not, but I can reach out and talk to him, because he did call me and talk to me about it.
Yep.
And the other thing is, that I don't know who you guys would do for a point person. The first recommendation was to see if we have an opportunity to secure the 13.1 acres from Rock 10 that sits in the middle of our land. If they would consider letting the town use it. So I don't know who would do that. I don't have a problem with going down and meeting with them, or if one of you guys want to. I don't know how that process works, but that's the first recommendation that they had.
Probably the staff down there doesn't even know they have land there, but,
They probably don't.
yeah.
Um,
But anyways, yeah,
Yeah, it's, somebody told me, Kevin Sheffer, and I know Kevin, we did EMT classes together, so I don't have a problem with reaching out to Kevin and talking to him, or if you guys want to, I mean, I don't know how you wanna work this, I don't have a problem being the planning chair, or if you guys want to, but either or, just let me know and we can take it from there.
yeah, what do you guys think? I mean, you could get the talk started, I suppose, and, you know, and then we'll go from there. But
Okay.
anybody have any reservations about any of this?
Nope.
It's all.
So you're just pre-planning, no spending money, just kind of making a plan, right?
No, we're not spending any money, no. What our hopes is that we can meet with the previous board and us
Yep,
to draw out a plan.
yep,
And then work with Nancy Patch, the forester, with the logger that she recommend. And hopefully, if some of it has to be cut off, that we can sell the logs and the wood that we get from there to use toward, you know, like the parking or the paths, you know, that's our, we don't wanna spend any, we wanna, hopefully we can get money in to be able to do this. And the other important part about getting the land from the rock tenant, they would let us use it. They have an easement, we have an easement to get to that, there's an easement to get to that land. We don't have one. But they do, so if they let us use the land or obtain the land, we can use that easement. And that, the logger, and then so we
Do you
can
mean
use it.
off from Sweet Hollow? You don't
Yes.
have the, but
Yes.
you do off from 105.
Right, but 105, when they walked
Yeah.
it, they said there's too many, it's too wet, and there's deep ravines in there, that they wouldn't be able to get through it. And it's like a swamp, and they said there's really deep ravines in there, so it's preventing us from crossing. So the other thing would be, if we can't get that, to possibly put a landing and a parking lot in down close to the neighbor that borders that land, and not across the rail trail, so we won't have to deal with crossing the rail trail.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's our two options, so.
Okay. Well, nobody has any reservations about that, David, you're all right with being point person for this?
Thank
Okay,
you, David.
so I think, yeah, I guess you can proceed with
Okay,
what we're doing there and see where it comes and keep us updated, David, keep us updated.
yep. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.
Jamie, what do you have to speak to us about tonight?
Hi. I just wanted to chat a little bit. I know I mentioned before that we really kind of need another person for a lister. And I know it's been pretty impossible. I tried to recruit a friend of mine even. And my father is now looking to buy a place in Florida. So he will not be here probably in the fall. And that would leave just me. So that's a concern that I have, and I don't know what else to do. I can't do it by myself. It's just not possible with what I've got going on in my own life and a job and my personal life with my family. So
Yep.
I just want to chat and kind of give you a heads up about that and hope that maybe we could either find someone or have an alternate plan for when that comes down the road.
Okay. Previously, when we spoke with Kermit, he said that he could possibly do most of the stuff. It would be just some paperwork. I don't know if that would be anything of interest that we could speak to him about.
He said he would do everything but paperwork.
Well, yeah, a lot of he would do, for some towns he does it all. Except for he needs someone to go with him when he does site visits and stuff, cause he won't go somewhere by himself. Yeah, because he was asking when we first spoke to him about doing this, how much of it he was gonna have to do and whether we had any listers at all. I don't know if that's still an option.
Would it be a possibility to, would it be a possibility, or is it a possibility to use the person that we have for zoning, to use them as a lister as well? Cause they're making up hours on Northwest Regional side, that we could maybe use some of their hours, make some more hours for him here doing listing as well. Just as a thought.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that might be a possibility, I don't know.
Is that a conflict of
Is there
interest or
any
is that-
conflict?
I think
There
because they're
is.
elected,
Because
listers
this
are
is,
elected unless you go to an outside appraiser.
Okay,
okay, yeah.
just asking a question.
Okay, yeah, I guess we'll have to
Okay,
explore some possibilities. And
could you give us like a description of when, like, what are you looking for, what hours do you work? Possible job description for somebody, recruiting?
I mean, I can, I basically go in when I can right now, which is, it comes and goes depending on what's happening with kids, which has been really hard. I mean, with COVID, you would think it'd be a little easier, but it's not.
Yeah.
So, I try to get in there at least once a week. I get a bunch done when I'm there, but it's unpredictable. We've gotten most of the stuff done. I just have to get current use up to date, but Kermit needs to work with me on that, so he'll be in this week on Wednesday.
Is there a day a week that normally you go in or no?
What?
Is there a day a week that normally you go in or a certain time or it's just unpredictable?
I try to pop in on Wednesdays if I can get out of school and load up on my school computer at the office, because they just require me to check my voicemail. But that's after I do meal delivery paperwork. But other than that, it's normally in the afternoon, like in the evening. Sometimes I get in there at 6 o'clock and I stay till 8. So I don't go on Fridays because that's when the zoning person, but I'm not there during the week, so it's only in the evenings that I can ever make unless it's a day off at school.
Well, good thing school's coming to an end.
What?
Good thing school's coming to an end.
Oh yeah, can't wait. I counted by Wednesdays, 5 more Wednesdays. Wednesdays are the worst days, so. Yeah, it's just, I can give you a rundown of what I do. I pretty much do everything that's required on the computer. And my father and Kermit do all, like I went with my father and did visits, and then Kermit and him work on getting it in the system. But other than that, I do everything else, which I don't mind, but Kermit has to help me with some things, but it'd be nice to have someone else that can that can check the download during the week when I'm not able to come in, but it's something that loads by the state on Mondays. So I can't get in there until after school sometimes, if not later.
Okay.
I can make a list of things, it's a lot. I started it when I started working, I started writing everything down. It's pretty, I have a pretty detailed document, it's just, I gotta find it.
Yeah. Okay, just thought it might help with recruiting.
Yeah, I know I've been trying, but it's hard,
Yep.
everyone's busy.
yeah.
Hear that.
Okay, we'll explore some options there and see what we can do to help you out.
Okay.
Thanks for all your work.
Kermit, I don't see him very often, so,
Okay.
well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
So, Carrie and Forrest,
Well, we're here in support of the ordinance that's being worked on by the town. We're hoping that it'll shoot up on Patel Road because we're having a lot of problems the last couple of years. There's a development there, there's 5 houses. And we abut it, our woods abut it. And there's been a lot of shooting down there. And we legally had to take some steps against one person shooting into our property and doing damage. Even though he had a berm, it was not even a berm. And Forrest has been out in the woods. I'm gonna let him take the floor. And a lot of bullets are flying from another house down there. And there's a quiet family that live in the development that are being plagued by the gunfire. Oh, and we did call the police, and it seems like, we don't have an ordinance, so we can't really do anything. So, to take legal steps, that's money coming out of my pocket to stop that, to stop the bullets from going into the woods, from whoever's out there from getting hurt. But, and it's the, new people coming in, they think they don't have gun safety at all. So they think they do, but they don't. So you're relying on their common sense, which is different than what we would do.
Okay.
So,
Well, I have to tell you, what we've been looking at so far was just in the village districts too, so,
you know that, but what about the,
I'm not sure.
the houses?
There was we watched the discussion that you had had, and at one point it came up that some towns maybe had a perimeter around people's houses of X number of feet, which was essentially a safety zone.
Yeah.
From somebody else's house being too close in proximity. And I know a lot of other states have those sorts of rules where you can't fire a gun within 300 feet of somebody else's house, like even hunting or whatever.
Yeah.
And in this scenario, these houses are all within 250 feet of each other.
Yeah.
And it's pretty unfortunate because while some of them are gun enthusiasts, others are trying to raise newborn babies, and there's gunfire, they've said up to midnight, any hour of the day or night, in large quantities. My mother's house is some distance from there, so she's not hearing it all the time. But when we've discovered this shooting, we've talked with the other people that are being affected by it, and one of those families moved in last year and they've been forced to sell their house because the gunfire is just beyond tolerable for them. And we've tried calling the sheriff's department and the game warden and stuff like that, because it's clearly unsafe, because the land's relatively flat and it shoots right off into the sugar woods. And there was instances when I had workers with me in the woods and we were hiding behind trees because bullets are hitting the trees. And you don't always know it's going to start, it just takes the first one.
Right.
And I think people think they live in the rural countryside, that it's okay to shoot, but really, you have 2 acres, the bullet needs to stop on your own property, right? But there's no ordinances or, you can call the state police, but there's nothing they can do about it because, it's not illegal. It's just not safe, and you can't police common sense, I guess.
Yeah, and we're out there, so I tend not to go down in that little section, because you just don't feel comfortable. And we had the forester come, and of course he did a map on how far the bullets will travel, and a bullet will travel over 90 acres up to the woods, and that brings it right up to the lower meadow from my house. It's,
Yeah.
where I thought we were
So
safe.
we're just saying we would be in, support of, I know that there was discussion of, doing certain streets or certain zones of the town and, potentially coming up with an ordinance that limited it to those areas or those streets or those parts of streets. But I think that you might find more people than would want a safety zone around their house. I mean, the people that are there are moving because they can't stop it. And they've called the police and they've called the game warden and there's nothing they can do. And they have a newborn baby and there's gunfire at 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And not 5-6 shots, we're talking hundreds.
It's rapid fire. In the summer, I can really hear it with my windows open or just being outside. It's almost like Vietnam.
Well, that would also fall under a noise ordinance, which we don't really have, which maybe I mean, we're trying to protect the people of town, but also be respectful of, you know, responsible gun owners. There's a lot of them in Sheldon,
For sure.
right? So, I mean, that would fall under a noise ordinance as well, which, you know, maybe something to discuss or whatever,
But you should be able to be traveling on your own property and not worry about getting hit
Yeah,
by
and
gunfire.
it happened,
It's-
I had 3 or 4 people in the woods and bullets were hitting the trees all around us.
Oh, and he's had damage to his.
Yeah, the pipeline is full of holes all the time and whatever, but there's people that live there that, you know, are obviously very uncomfortable, and you might find more people than you know, like that in the town where they're not right directly in the village, but they're in these small developments where, you know, it may be possible to shoot safe, but
Not really.
it's not really.
No.
These aren't, yeah. Guess we just wanted to share our little scenarios, so
No,
maybe
thank
we
you.
factor into any ordinance you might further discuss.
Right, you don't.
I know you don't want, nobody wants to infringe on somebody's rights and, you know, we're.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we discussed
Supporting
before,
ourselves, but,
you know.
there's, you know,
Yeah, we've listened to it for a long time in the bullets, and it's just been since the last 6 months that we had to get some sort of stop shooting. And then they said they had a burn.
sorry that's happened for you guys. It's not a great feeling on your own property to
yeah,
not feel safe.
it's pretty.
Right. Anyway. It's important, the
But,
safety of the community.
So
Yeah,
that's our little scenario and maybe
Okay.
how it might play into
yeah.
any further discussions for you.
Certainly
Yeah,
helps.
we are gonna keep discussing it and try to get something figured out, so. You know, we had hoped in the beginning that common sense would prevail too, but,
It's
Yeah.
you
not.
know, it's,
Well,
No,
it's,
what we think and what
In
someone
one
else is
instance, in one
thinking.
instance, the landowner said for his bullets to get to our property, you have to stand on a roof, and he owns 2 acres, so clearly he doesn't know how firearms work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure, backyard, yeah, but Bill,
You would, yeah,
okay, yeah, we're gonna keep working on this and thanks for your input.
does the ordinance have to be voted on at town meeting, or is that something that's?
No, we adopt an ordinance and then we have to have, meetings that, people can come in and speak their piece, and then, how does this go, if they want to appeal it or whatever, they can get a petition together.
In 60 days.
44 days they have to appeal it. 60 days it would become an ordinance if no one appeals.
Right.
Very similar to like the ATV ordinance.
Oh,
It'd
yes.
be the same thing, same scenario, same line of action.
Is that like drawing a line in the sand? That side you can't shoot, this side you can shoot?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure out, you know, cause then you say that, you know, we said, well, maybe we'll just do it in the village districts, but, you know, like, there's some places that, are still within the village district that they've got, you know, they own a big chunk of land too, and there's other people that aren't in the village district, well, like these people, for instance, that there's a small development, you know, or you go up to, say up by your place, how would, you know, people shouldn't be shooting guns up there with all those houses either, you know, so, I mean,
They shoot
it's,
them there.
yeah, well, so I don't know, you know, we need to look at all the different ways about this. I mean, I hate infringing on people's rights, but if people don't use common sense and somebody gets hurt, you know, or like you say, it's driving out people out of the town because, you know, the stuff going on that isn't safe, I guess we need to, you know, make some rules, and then we've researched a few, you know, Joe pulled out some stuff from other towns, and a lot of towns, more towns than I thought, had ordinances on guns and shooting, and, you know, there's a bunch of different ways of doing it too, so we wanna try to figure out the best way of doing it. And we know whenever you do something, you're not gonna make everybody happy, but if we can keep the community safe and the majority of the people happy, then that's our goal. So,
Yeah, it's never a problem until it's a problem, so.
right,
Yeah, it only takes one.
There's a lot of people moving into Sheldon and stuff, so.
And I think, that's what the trend seems to be up there, it's people that move in and, you know, they get this sense of, I'm in the middle of nowhere, but
yeah,
I'm in their backyard,
right,
Yeah, they don't
I'm
realize
in,
that.
on our own land.
yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, we're still working on everything and
Yep.
definitely appreciate your feedback and, it's helpful because, you know, as far as we were concerned, the villages were the biggest areas of concern, but obviously that's not the
It's
case.
like these, you know, small micro communities or whatever.
Sure.
Yep,
Yeah.
They're probably more likely to be shooting, you know, when you're out of the village,
Right.
you know, if they had some common sense. But you're still in close proximity to people that probably, you know, would rather you weren't doing that 200 feet from their house.
yep,
Yeah, so like say the people that I've had to do the legal work on, how they don't like it now because they're, you know, they may move and then somebody else is gonna move in there and do the same thing all over again and I'm gonna have to do that again.
hopefully not, but, yeah, it's a possibility, I guess, yeah.
There's two houses down there, well, one is shut down now, I mean, the other one is,
Yep,
yeah. We abut it very close, you look right there and there's the woods, and, yeah. Anyway, good luck,
okay,
thank you for.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
No
input,
problem, thank you for coming in.
yeah.
Thank you. You're welcome, I guess we'll go then.
There you go.
Thank you, Forrest. Brian?
I got a couple different scenarios. The guardrail that's on Main Street, is that gonna be fixed? Or is the curb board gonna be put back there? Because if not, that could be a substantial problem, because the curb board is there for a reason.
Where are
They
you?
get $10 fix today, but if they wash it out the road, it's $1,000 fix.
So you're talking on the hill,
Yes,
McEnany's corner up, or McEnany's corner down?
yes. And the guardrail are deteriorated, is that a safety scenario?
Yeah, sure it is.
Is that something we're looking at to be fixed, or is that just gonna be?
Yes, we
Yeah.
brought up, in the, what was it?
In our budget,
In the budget,
we
yeah.
looked at, we got some numbers and we budgeted some numbers about to look into replacing sections of it or parts of it and posts and stuff like that. We haven't discussed with stuff, anything about, or the road crew about the, board or anything like that, to make sure runoff doesn't erode that bank. We haven't gotten there yet, but we have put some preliminary, money aside and, but we haven't gone off what we're gonna do yet. So that's where we're at with that.
But we did get a quote, right?
Yes, we did, yes.
But we need to do something with the curb board or else it's gonna erode and then we're gonna be,
Yeah, we haven't discussed that yet, so.
well, we can't, to me, you can't wait too long because who knows, it could happen tomorrow, maybe in that, we've gone by the point of no return.
Well, it's not gonna be fixed tomorrow. But it will be addressed.
There's that and all the potholes on the corners that are cut short. Are we gonna fill them in, or they're still gonna just keep breaking away the blacktop?
For instance, where?
Well, right down here on 105 and Main Street. When you turn right, there's a big hole there.
We just fixed that one today.
You're supposed to stay on the road, not cut that corner short.
It's not me, it's a big long trailer.
That's a state road anyway, 105 is.
Yeah.
That,
But,
Yeah, we already put fill in there 2 times so far.
Can we put some hot mix, whole pack?
Yeah.
Something that's gonna stay?
Yeah.
the state doesn't like you widening those intersections. So, I mean, you, like when you pave it, they don't want you to put a big wide entrance there. But anyways, yeah, they filled that hole. So, for now, I'm sure it'll probably break up again.
Then on Sheldon Heights where they sweep the sand into the neighbor's property, you went and swept it all back in the road. Is that gonna get picked up?
I don't know. Probably.
first we've heard of it,
Anything you heard about?
first we've heard of, I haven't heard it. So where is it? Whose house?
Shumway's,
Oh, yeah.
it's all been, you swept the lawn and they swept the road, and swept it back in the road.
Huh.
Well, there's half a dozen piles at the side of the street.
He piled it back into the road or swept it into the road?
Well, they're like piles of it where you swept into the road.
And that's recent, I presume?
It's on the pavement.
No, it just happened recently though,
When did you
right,
sweep
the
that?
last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the leaks here.
So a couple of the town road area.
Yeah, they'll go up, clean it up. Nobody knew about it, I guess. Nobody had called and said there was dirt in our road, so. They don't travel that road every day, so. Alright. What do you got for us tonight, Seth?
Well, we started our 4-day work 6 to 4:30 last week,
Yep.
so definitely the days are longer, get more done. We got done green up day and had to wait on some tires to bring them down to the solid waste district. We brought 95 down today. And we've been playing with beavers. We've been playing with beavers for the last few days on culverts and stuff on Bedard. Jim went down there Thursday and knocked a dam out with the culvert, and they were already back there. It was already all plugged off this morning. So he did it again, yeah. And down at over at Shawville Road, where there's right next to the rail trail, there's one of those old fashioned culverts that probably was made by the railroad back in the 1800s with stones, and they're pretty cool. But apparently it's pretty old, and there must be a rock that dropped out of the center of it, and it's like half plucked with probably like sticks and stuff going through it. It's probably like it cut down the flow of water, probably like in half. So I know Jamie Rush had something to say about it. It was flooding that little corner out, and it was backing up across the culvert on 78 there on kind of our lawn when we had the rain from Thursday.
So is that under the rail trail?
Yeah.
So that,
Well, it doesn't cut straight across, it cuts at an angle,
yeah.
so it's gotta be like 60 feet or better.
Oh, that's a big one.
But that must
Shawville
still
Road?
be in the rail right away,
It's
right?
actually,
Yeah, that's what I was
Shawville
talking
Road.
about, the railroad.
Or underneath
It's
it.
a state mess to deal with.
The only thing we're thinking of is like maybe having someone like Todd Derry or someone come up with a excavator and taking like a 60-foot telephone pole and just try to drive it through there.
Should we contact V-Trans before we do that?
Definitely. Yeah.
Rail trail?
Maybe in the future, I mean, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
unless we get like 3 inches of rain, it probably doesn't bother, because there's still a good flow of water going through it.
He's in B chain,
Oh.
so they can try to.
It's a little wet right now.
Yeah, you can't really see in there either, from either end,
No, this
so,
was Joe.
that's just what, the information that we got from, Wayne Rush there. He came over to talk to us
I'll
for
send you
some
his email.
Okay.
Cause he was like the one of those that can charge all the projects, so I don't know if he had some to like, he might be able to add it onto.
Yeah, I don't know if I
That
don't
change.
mess with that too much, so.
Yeah, we'll just leave it for now, but,
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it out there that they were complaining, Thursday, and they weren't too happy.
V-Trans
Yeah.
Who was complaining?
The Rushes, cause it was kinda backing up across the road on 78,
Yeah,
but lucky it stopped raining enough, so the water was dropped right off anyway, but. We spread like, 1,800 yards of gravel on the dirt roads this spring between our stockpile and what we bought at Lynch's, so far. Might need a few more loads, up on Duffy Hill. I think I gotta go up there tomorrow and do some grading. It's pretty bad. I didn't realize that, but, there's a few bad spots. Other than that, the rest of the roads seem to pack pretty good.
yeah,
Pretty decent for now.
seems to have held up pretty good.
We'll hit them again once, give it a month or whatever. It all depends what the weather does, and
Yeah,
we'll hit, next time around, we'll hit them with chloride. But,
How's
Okay.
the gravel budget holding up?
yeah,
Is
Um,
it plenty
yeah.
in there?
yeah. It all depends kind of which way go with it, but, it seems to pack pretty good.
Is it pretty good sized gravel?
Yeah,
A little too big?
Yeah, the stuff in Enosburg is a little different. Has a lot of clay in it. I think it packs a lot harder, quicker, as far as like dust control. The stuff we get up in, Berkshire from the same company is, more looser, and it makes a lot more dust in a hurry. I think it's better for the springtime. That's when we stockpile that gravel with more rocks in it.
Mhm. Just looks like a lot of big stuff on the sides,
Yeah.
people are chattering.
Yeah. But I guess the price is right. I know Fairfield, I was talking to one of those guys, and they bought some of that 5/8 mix up to Barbo's, and a lot of it disappears.
Mhm.
And the stuff that doesn't pack, the stones get thrown off the sides. Other than that, I got 2 quotes for paving. Wickham's came up and we took a ride around the block, checked out a few roads. Obviously, the ones that need it the most. And he gave us an estimate of about the same price as Pike did, like 2 months ago. So they're pretty much matched this year. Price went up like $10 a ton more than last year. I was gonna have
Yeah,
some,
got more before we,
yeah, I had some printouts, but the printer was resigning, so.
how long will they hold their quotes for?
They said they're good for now,
Yeah.
but they said they didn't know about later on. So that's the thing, if Pike doesn't get the
We run
payments.
into that before,
Yeah.
where they gave us a quote, said it's good, and then when they showed up to do it, they said,
Yeah.
oh, well,
Yeah,
petroleum prices are up, we're gonna have to bump it
Yeah.
up.
Did either of them say when they could start or when they would wanna start?
Pike was definitely gonna be later on, cause they already were kind of booked. But I think Wickham's would be in the ballpark of, a June or July, first part of July.
It's a little earlier than last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in June last year.
It's a good time to get it paid.
Yeah.
Did we get the paving budget, or did we get the paving grant?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know that until like, it's like the middle, it'd be coming up this month.
What's that?
Who paved 120? I know it's a state. but who did?
Hutchins,
Hutchins is there.
they brought that stuff over from Harrisburg.
Did you call?
But-
I had a quote for those guys last year, and, they were about the same, they're a little higher.
I talked to Lisa Larrabee there about it, and, she said that she was talking to the guy from Hutchins, and they're like in a rush to get that done, cause they got so much work.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
They did like a mile for Franklin, and they gave him like a 10% $10 a ton off, but Franklin helped them out because they left all their equipment in their yard and, they piled a bunch of, rubble in their yard too, so, they gave them a little break, but they already had their equipment there.
Yeah, I can say everything was right there.
Yeah.
Someone else I think is doing on 105 too, I saw them today doing some marking,
Yeah.
and it wasn't Hutchins. I almost think it was engineers. Do they still do paving?
ECI does too.
ECR, that's who it was.
Not as much, they're just a little bit smaller, but they do a little bit.
Yeah, definitely need some touch up around town as far as corners go. And I know there's a few spots here and there, and we've been getting them as we go.
But the more you add, the more they're gonna go. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the hardest part. you
Yeah.
know?
We went down to Pikes last week when the weather was nice, and we picked up some hot mix. It works a lot better than a cold patch does, but you definitely have to have a plan because it'll get so once it cools off, it'll be a solid rock.
But that's not using that 1 ton, is it? Or you?
No.
None of them are
Yeah.
good, are they?
It goes good. Yeah, you just have to spray with diesel fuel first, and then it'll shut it off. We put 4 tons down on Macy Road, and another 2 tons on East Sheldon and King Road.
Goes quick, does it?
Yeah, yeah. But I was also talking to Ronnie Macy about, down through there. And, he changed his mind again about those first 2.
Oh, did it?
So whoever did it last, there used to be culverts there, they took them out and then just repacked it, but obviously, and then paved over it. But it obviously wasn't packed enough because it sags in the spring.
Oh, is that why you thought he needed?
Yeah, so the
back?
first 2, and then the third one by Donna Drive is definitely a 2-foot culvert there. So we're thinking about just digging down to the culvert and then re-tamp it, rent like a big tamper or something.
How deep is that culvert in?
That one's the deepest one. It's 2 feet down probably.
Yeah.
Is that something you could, tamp it and let it set for a while before you
Yeah.
pave over? I mean,
Yeah.
especially this, there'd be plenty of trucks driving over that,
Yeah.
packing it down for.
I know obviously the right thing to do would be to do it the year before, but.
Well, I mean, they did it on, Pond Road.
Yeah, Fairfield did it, and then Highgate did theirs too, like a month before they paved, and, we drove over like last week or whatever, and it was solid. Or all spring, it never moved, so.
Yeah.
If we could just tamp it down, let the traffic beat it down for like a month or whatever, hope for the best.
Put the pump sign up, leave it a little bit high.
Yeah, yeah. And then even I was talking to the Wickham guy, and he said they can, they have the big rollers with vibrate mode on them.
Right.
And when they go over, they can hit vibrate, and it would help it out too, probably.
Depends on how long it's been sitting.
Yeah.
So did Whitcomb want to grind the pavement off that, make sure road go, or
Pikes wanted to.
Pikes wanted to? But
Yeah, that was gonna be it was gonna be roughly like around 200,000 to shim and overlay it. Or it was gonna be like closer to 300,000 if you wanna grind it. Cause it's 30,000, it'd be like around
There's that
30.
much pavement on there that we need to grind that, is there?
Yeah, I mean, it's like 30,000 to grind that section of road.
Is there 2 or 4 inches down there to grind, or 6 inches?
I'd say they can only go down like,
Yeah, but how much, is there
Yeah.
is there 2-3 layers there? Or
I don't
just
know,
2?
I mean, it's not much now.
Yeah, I don't think that's,
It's pretty pounded down.
remember what year they paved that, Dave?
It had to have been 20 years ago, I'd say.
Yeah. How many times have they think it's been paved?
Paved 3 times, I think, in 20 years, at the most.
Right.
It's not like we're on a 3-year or 4-year
Right.
cycle there, which we,
Yeah.
probably should be on a lot of roads, but you just can't,
Probably paved twice.
Yeah. So I don't know if it'd be worth grinding that off,
Yeah.
I mean, it might help it, but
like 120, they took an inch and a half off, but the cracks are still right down to the dirt, so I don't know if it's really gonna make a difference or not, you know?
They took off what they put on 3 years ago, that's what they did.
Yeah.
They went back through and ripped that back out, and they
Yeah. But
basically that's all they did.
yeah, like the cracks are showing right down through to the bottom,
Yeah.
so I don't know if it's really gonna make a,
I think you get the culverts fixed up there on the Macy Road and then
yeah,
cross pavement over
yeah. Sounds good, so if we get the grant, it'll be like 174. So that should pretty much cover most of Macy Road if you wanna do it the right way. You know, shim in overlay, then it'll be good for a while.
it. Yeah.
Does the town have a jumping jack? You guys don't have one?
A what?
Jumping jack, like the,
Well, we have a little one, but it's not heavy enough for,
those things pound,
Yeah.
they're not that expensive, they're a pain to run, but they
yeah.
can pack a ditch pretty quick.
We put a culvert in on Cook Road. There was a new house that was going up, so they needed a culvert in. And the contractor had a big compactor, and it's been a few years now, it seems to be holding steady, so.
Yeah, it can't hurt compacted.
Yeah,
For sure.
compacted every 4-6 inches or so, and.
It's worth your time to do it.
Yeah,
So if we get the grant, we'll do Macy, what other roads are you looking at that you
well, I
wanna
know you
do?
mentioned Main Street, and of course it is Main Street, but like the guy was riding with Whitcombs, he's like, look, I was thinking Kane Road too, because, it doesn't look as bad, but you get out and walk around on the road, it's like 4-inch truck routes on it. And, then there was the box culvert down by the bridge that was, it was just patched over, and there's quite a good, crew there.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking ahead, because we haul all our gravel and sand back on that road, so it's, there's a lot of traffic on that road coming from the T, you know?
I don't think Main Street's that bad personally, I mean,
You know.
Conroe's worse, but, I mean,
Sheldon Woods.
Yeah,
Sheldon Woods, yeah.
yeah.
No, I'm just asking where you're thinking.
Yeah, so we went.
Cause that way we could all
Yeah.
take a little
Yeah.
ride.
Any of this infrastructure money that we're supposed to be getting, can that be used for pavement?
Can be, but, well, and I think it can be used for whatever we wanna use it for, but
That,
I think we have other places it might be going.
I don't know, I think we could check the wording on it to make sure that it wasn't to cover shortcomings, you know, from our budget that we expected. Money coming in to cover things like paving, but as far as like, but as far as if we wanted to invest in sewer, water and broadband, that would be clean slate. The way that I read it initially, but we'll just read it again and take a look.
Yeah. And when we got our grant amended for, Heald Road culvert, the box culvert was, it was only like 10,000 and change. So I don't know if that's really gonna cut a cake or not, but, I'll have to dig up the paperwork and, see what the time frame is to have. We have 2 years to do it, so it's good for October of, 22. So if for some reason it doesn't get done this year, we can always do it next year. I mean, it's not super bad, but it definitely should be changed. It's been engineered, and it was just gonna be a 10 by 10 by 60 box culvert.
They have an estimate on that.
Yeah, it was, I think it was right around 10,000 for the concrete. But then that's not having someone come and dig it up, because we're not gonna be able to do it.
You gotta send that out to bid.
Crane this out.
Yeah. But it's relatively simple, you just dig up the old culvert, level it, grade it.
It's a pre-cab?
Yeah, and the bottom, and they come and do it.
Yeah.
Look, they come and set it, and it's done within like a morning, really. Just backfill it. and-
Yeah, that's something we'll have to send out to bid.
Yeah.
Did Randy redo our structures grant on that?
Yeah, he did. There's some paperwork for it in the filing cabinet, I meant to grab it, but. And then, I was gonna meet with Bethany there last week, she was gonna come up and we were gonna look at some smaller culverts and little projects around. She's
Yeah.
really, Better Back Roads grant people.
Yep.
Look at our back roads and stuff, and we were gonna go for a ride, but it was raining all day that day, so she canceled. We're gonna reschedule sometime soon.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of money, and we're gonna be getting like 14,000, I think, for that grant, or we already have it. To use for culverts or, ditching and stuff, and lining banks of rocks or whatever.
Yeah. That's good.
Other than that, if I might need some guidance, you know, I'm just going by what we've done in the last few years. I don't know everything.
You don't know everything after a couple of years?
No.
Have you looked at the water leak on the Bouchard Road?
Yeah.
Any plans of fixing that?
Yeah, Hubert just mentioned something.
Okay.
It kind of stopped for a while, then all of a sudden it started running water again.
I think it's just headed up the bank and then
Okay.
it comes
Yeah.
back up through the road.
Yeah.
I think it's a water line leak.
Yeah. Okay.
Just before your driveway on that corner.
Yeah, it's like right on the side of the road too.
Last fall there, but.
Yeah, I think we actually moved it when we put it in,
Yeah.
moved it into the road a little bit more because there wasn't much of a bank right there at the time.
Yeah, so we'll have to dig that up, and by Joe's, in front of his, front yard there. That was, planned for this week if it stays dry enough.
I mean, you know, like I said, as far as that goes, I talked to Corey about it, I mean, it doesn't affect us at all, it's more affected Corey's. I think it, I don't know, I looked at it again when it was dry the other day, I think it's just up street about 20 feet off of my curb stop.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if there's other things going on, and you could bring in a bucket load of stone right in the worst part, because when it gets close to the culvert, you put a bucket load of stone or some gravel, something a little drier in there,
Yeah.
probably just be a Band-Aid until later on in the year. I mean, it's not a gusher by any means, but it, you know, it's.
Yeah, I just kinda wanted to get it fixed too, cause it's kinda like every time you drive by there, you can see it, so. I think there might be another problem too down by the, Catholic church on, Mill Street. Hubert said he checked the water and said there wasn't chloride in it, but then he checked it again the other day and said there was, so. He thought it was like an underground, culvert or something that kinda just dead ended right there. And,
There's a lot of weird stuff down
Yeah.
there, by the fire station and,
Yeah.
mill buildings and, yeah.
so, it's like right there where the corner of that, stone wall of the parsonage or whatever is. And it's definitely running water.
And he thinks it's town water?
Well, at first, he said it happens every year. And then, of course, this year it's like still going and going, but, he said the last time I talked to him, he said he thought it had chloride in it. So that's not a good sign.
No.
Then we were doing a little digging too down on the backside of the water house. For the inspection, there was a pipe vent pipe that was, had some pluggage in it, and, Jim and I were been messing around with that. And we got rained out last week, so we're gonna have to wait till get back on that one of these dry days here. Yeah, other than that, everything's going smooth.
Good.
Nice not having mow lawns this year. And Jim and I both appreciate the pay raises. Thank you.
Good.
Keep you guys happy.
Yeah.
If you get a chance, go down Sweet Hollow and pick up those 2-3 brush piles that are stacked almost in the road.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
Whoever decide to cut them is not gonna pick them up,
Yeah.
so. And I can't decide who did it.
Yeah.
Was it something for like a line of sight coming out of something?
No, it's on the opposite side of the road. That's what makes no sense. It's on the opposite side of front
I don't know.
ledge, or not front ledge, of frontage.
Yeah, I was thinking that was probably my doing.
No, it wasn't.
No?
No. And my wife said she drove down, there was some people cutting on a Saturday,
Huh.
and said they're cutting down there, and I'm like, okay. And then she went down, I went down like a day or two later, and there's piles, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
I just saw
And
that, yeah.
Dave said something to me about it, and I'm like, well, I'm kinda waiting to see if anyone picks up or does something with it, and I'm like, okay, cause as soon as I tell you to do it, someone's gonna complain that we picked up their wood, so, but we'll, if you can take care of that, that'd be,
Yep.
Anything else going on?
Not that I know of really, it was pretty quiet other than up until like Thursday and today, the phone was ringing pretty good. Up on, St. Pierre Road, Burns and marked a culvert. Well, I went up there and, there was a stake right next to where the field driveway was, where it was high and dry, perfect spot for a driveway. So I thought so I marked down no culvert needed. Well, she called today and said, no, it's not there, it's, down in the corner by like the tree line, which there definitely needs a culvert there, I'd say. So I have to go back up there and check it out.
make sure whatever digging we do, we call dig safe.
Yep. The chloride guy salesman stopped in a few weeks ago. Guess we're all set to order whenever. I think last year we went through like 15,000 gallons.
Got shimmer tires back on,
Yeah, as far as trucks go, new truck, we're just keeping the tires on it, and Jim's truck, we kind of put used tires on last year, so that's probably good for the summer. The small truck is still sitting in the garage with a plow and a wing on it, because we haven't really needed it for anything, so.
yeah.
It's a funny day.
Yeah. We went through and we rinsed all our chloride tanks out. It's probably never been done for a while, and oiled our chains and took all our standard gear off, and we had to make some custom brackets for the bumper of the new truck. It was just stripped off, so it looks a lot better with the bumper on it.
Yeah.
How's the 1 ton doing?
It's doing good. I like the truck. It goes good. No complaints.
Just gotta get the sander fixed or do
Yeah,
something.
it either needs new plugins or hydraulic driven sander off the transmission. You can put a pump on those transmissions, I've heard.
So that one doesn't have a pump on it at all.
No, it's all electric.
It's all electric.
Yeah. Or
But it must have a pump for the dump, doesn't it?
yeah,
So you could just plumb in on.
that's electric too, though, I believe it's.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Those, yeah,
Yeah.
those electric hydraulic ones.
I know you guys are talking about getting another truck, but I mean, truck's in good shape, really.
It's not on your wish list, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, it is, but it isn't.
Get other things on.
I saw the date they got that truck, and they didn't get it back until like, it was like the first week in January or something. So if we did get, I know right now it's hard to get like heavy duty trucks. And I know the price of them just skyrocketed, so I don't know what the time frame would be to get one, then you'd have to have all the gear set up on it. If something you wanna do, I could start looking into it.
I think it was more of just, something we were looking at to not let it get too bad.
Yeah,
Like, you know, have
I mean, the truck
be
is-
worth something in the trade.
yeah,
If you think it's fine.
Let's get one more year out of it, and then our equipment fund won't be so depleted.
yeah,
Cause we've been having issues with that.
Yeah.
Keeping up with it there because of the payments, but.
yeah, that's what I say.
Well, good.
Or you guys just, so the lawnmower we have isn't being used for anything?
No, it's still sitting on the trailer from last year.
Is it full fuel or is it?
Yeah, it should be all set. I mean,
We probably ought to keep it for this year, you think, and see what next year brings, and
Yep.
and then if next year we stick with the contract stuff, we could look into selling it, I guess.
It might be good to burn the fuel out of the tank though.
Yeah, I put some treatment in it.
Okay.
Or at least started every
Yeah,
once in a while.
I started it this spring. Right, runs good.
Every once in a while, just started just to
Yeah,
keep
definitely,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Run it a few times and stuff,
Yeah.
and then just to keep it going, and
If they're not keeping things up here good, you can just come up and do a little pass with it just to
Yeah.
make sure it's doing well.
Yeah.
You can have the garage.
I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep the town
Mow the
office
garage,
looking
yeah.
good, so.
It's only a little strip, isn't it?
Yeah. As far as like trimming goes and stuff too, we can take care of the guardrails like we did last year and, around town, around the creek in here, and it makes it look a lot better
Yeah.
when the time comes.
Well, you want to trim around the telephone poles on Bridge Street, I can tell you that. No grass growing around those.
That guy is really doing a good job.
Which I called,
Hearing noises.
I called the power company the other day, cause I noticed they moved all the lines to the new poles. And they said they'd be up next week to yank them out. Yeah.
Is that on Bridge Street or here on Main Street?
All Main
too?
Street and Bridge Street.
Because mine, the one
They're all
right here,
disconnected.
they haven't changed me over yet.
Really?
They stopped at the bridge, I think, right?
I don't think they've done any on Main Street, but, because I know mine's not, here's not onto the big pole.
That way it is.
Maybe that way it is, because.
That way it is.
Telephone.
That way and that way are both, maybe not.
I know Bridge
Yeah.
Street's done. But
Everything
mine, if you go.
I emailed one of the engineers, or whatever, the guy that I talked to this winter that had 100 questions, or whatever. And so I asked him if they could, he said next few weeks or whatever, they're gonna come yank him out. Clean it up a little bit, looks a lot better with new poles than two poles right next to each other.
Yeah.
Or
Clean
have fun.
clean all the dirt on the poles too, right?
Yeah,
Pack it in a little bit.
yeah. Yeah, there's a few touch-ups places around town, like those boards are rotted off the bridge down here, I noticed. 2 or 3 of them are anyway.
They blew a tire on the Bouchard Road.
Oh my god, they sent you a bill for that? My wife saw that on Facebook. She was saying that we put crushed stone on the roads now and everything else, and at least they're not suing us for 100,000 like they did Cricket Reed up there.
So was this before you graded it down there, or after?
I saw a picture on Facebook, the tire was blown right out, and I don't think it really was caused by a stone, but
You haven't blown any tires down there yet?
What's that?
You haven't blown any tires on your way home yet?
I have,
I guess Zoom's shut off.
Just
Well.
rolled in.
There's no sign. You all set?
Now that you leave.
I'll read the meeting minutes from our previous meeting. Select Board Water Commissioner meeting minutes from April 26th of 2021. And we met at 7:30 here at the town office. Present was Steve Dodd, Joseph Dunleavy, David Klubit, Seth Hungerford, Nick Norris, and Tim Dufresne. I opened the meeting and read the agenda. Discussed the appointment to the Rail Trail Committee. Joe's spoke with Northwest Regional Planning. They met once a month at 7 o'clock, rotating meeting spots, now meeting virtually because of COVID. No appointment was made. Board accepted Mary Lucia's resignation letter. Make motion to accept library board nomination of Lindsay Dunleavy to finish the term of Mary Lucia, seconded by David, and all in favor. Read the meeting minutes from April 12th meeting. Seth motion to accept is read, seconded by Joe, and all in favor. We signed the 2021 local emergency plan. Discuss mowing bids. We'll enter executive session to finalize bids. Joe reviewed the firearm discharge ordinance. Joe will reach out to Sheriff's Department for input. We signed fleet permits, signed warrants 2116 and 2117, and the fire department truck payment. Discuss COVID grants. Clerk will set up separate fund in the general ledger. 8:30, Seth motion to go into executive session, seconded by David, and all in favor. 9 o'clock, we exited executive session. While we were there, we appointed Diane Crane to the DRB board and Hillary Weed to the Planning Commission board, and we accepted the mowing bid from Dufrane's Gas to do our mowing in the town. Meeting adjourned at 9 o'clock. And I will take a motion to accept these minutes as read.
I'll make a motion to accept them.
Alright, you have a second for that?
I'll second it.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Alright, we'll find that then. Speaking of the rail trail committee, do we have anybody that we want to appoint to that position? Anybody mentioned any, interest in it? You guys know?
Lindsay Dunleavy had a little interest in it, but, was waiting to, feedback about what days they were doing it, and I have not emailed Catherine yet, so
Okay.
I'll email
We
her.
might have some interest in it.
We might have some interest.
Alright, so we'll leave it for that, and, next meeting, maybe we can make an appointment. On, this firearm ordinance, have you done any, did you?
I emailed the sheriff, but, he emailed me back, I haven't got back to me yet, about just setting the time to talk about it. I mean, it sounds like, and honestly, I'd like to dig in a little bit further with some other towns. Cause I looked at about 3 towns worth of, ordinances, and I'd like to go through a little bit more. And obviously with the, Cattell coming in, it, you know, it sounds like it may need to reach beyond the village, or, you know, my thought, or after hearing that, would be to put in.
Which town was it that had the
Bristol,
safety zones there?
Bristol had safety zone.
It's safety
All
zones.
residents, schools.
Yeah, but I mean, for like, but I don't know if that safety zone wouldn't necessarily affect what's going on up there, because they're not shooting close to their house. It's,
There,
Well, it's,
those houses
In
are
there.
stacked right up to there.
but
and
it's,
they're too close to the other houses.
yeah.
They're
but
not
that-
they're not shooting close to,
Cattell's, but.
Cattell's house, but.
They're shooting too close to the other two houses.
250
Right side by side.
feet,
Yeah,
Was it a 500 safety, was it a 500 feet safety zone, is that what it was? I think it was,
300 I think it was, but.
From Bristol.
You know, the other thing would be to, I don't know, again, it's probably a question for the sheriff's department, but like, you know, if you could have somebody inspect your shooting area, I would, you know, I don't know if it's a yearly thing or once, you know, if their neighbors had, if the sheriff was able to go out and say, well, this is not safe, and you need to do this and this and this before you do it, and then they would have to have the sheriff's department come back out and say, okay, now this is safe. You know, again, it's, just like we said, we don't wanna take rights away from people who are using their head and know a little bit of gun safety, but we also wanna protect the people that are, you know, like they've lived there for how long, and this is just a problem now for them. It's not a good feeling for anybody that,
I just heard the other day that when I was at home, it was not last Friday, but the Friday before, they shot again over on that street. It happened to be David's mother that was with me, and she's like, get in the house, they're probably shooting us. But, you know, that's the fear you have now when you hear them shooting, is that, well, we're not safe out here, get in the house.
well, I mean, obviously that's, I think there's a lot of people moving into town that think I'm, you know, I can be a cowboy out here and, you know, not a lot of police presence, and your neighbors are cut in half because, you know, you may have neighbors to the side, but you don't have one in the back and in front, but, you know, obviously a bullet travels a lot farther than people think. And I actually drove by your house today, and I just, like, looked at the trailer that's empty there, I'm like, I don't even know how that bullet got there. I mean, that's just, from where the guy was shooting, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, obviously common sense wasn't being used.
I don't think they're respecting their neighbors either.
Right. So,
I think most people, if they made the mistake the first time, would be like, oh my God, what can we do to fix it? Not keep doing it.
Yep. You think you'd, can't go up the stairs, you can kill somebody?
Yeah.
No,
So, I mean,
but
as much as, you know, as much as we hate to do it, it sounds like it's, you know, we're gonna have to figure something out and get it taken care of in a manner of, you know, this year. I would think we'll try to get it going, and I'll reach back out to the sheriff's department. I've been a little bit swamped the last couple of weeks with work stuff, and lost a couple of employees, and it's not easy to find help right now, so I'm a little bit buried in the weeds, but I will keep working on it, of course.
Did you want me to send Roger a message?
No, he's waiting back on me, individually, you know. I don't think it was Roger, somebody in the department that offered to assist or talk to me, so. Just gotta set up a time. I don't wanna walk in there unannounced and demand somebody's time, cause I know I don't like that at my office. But, yeah, I guess, I'll look more into some of the, other towns in the area, and maybe even out of state, that are similar to Sheldon, and see what they have. You know, I was gonna make it as sensible as possible, but.
yeah.
I would like to be able to just have something, which I can't remember which town it was, had one that was basically like if you were within the, limits of the ordinance, but had an inspection done by a officer, that you were exempt from that. But, I mean, the other thing that was brought up, which seemed to be a big problem, was, you know, 11 o'clock at night. That just doesn't make any sense, unless you like to see tracers or something, I don't know. Like, it's cool, my bullets are glowing, I don't know what, I mean, who knows, but like, that makes zero sense. And they said it was like 100 rounds. By my house, there might be another gun going off, I don't know, but.
Right.
Especially the newborn around.
Yeah.
But that's just disrespectful. I mean, that's a whole other line of inconsideration.
Somebody got anything else we need to discuss? Seth?
What?
Got anything else you need to discuss tonight? While we're on camera?
Not while we're on camera, I'd like to go in executive. if we
You
could.
would?
Yeah,
We got something we need.
yeah, I just wanna talk about this.
Okay. So we've covered everything else then, right? I can,
Yep,
I'll take a motion, we enter into executive session.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, can I get a second on that?
I'll second.
Alright, we will go into executive session and when we come out, we're gonna adjourn